We're at Parnell Park for the go-ahead Dublin Senior 1 Hurling Championship encounter of Fianna and St Judes. Fianna lead by 1 going into the second half. 1-10 plays 1-9. Joe Fortune, what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, the first half. Look, I think both teams have a half under their belt now. They need to kind of push on for the second half. There was parts of the first half were a little bit sloppy at times, but look, it's first game of championship. Like we've said earlier on, like the league at this stage now is kind of done and dusted, and lads are getting ready. The intensity tackling was very good, but I just think now it'll be interesting to see what Judes do with this wind. Do they isolate Danny inside and try and get ball into him, because he has done really, really well in the first half despite the close marking of young McHugh as well.
Just looking around for changes, I see that Dermot Clerkin is still on the field. That means that Conor McHugh is not joining us, and that's a big blow for Fianna. He's kind of their designated man marker.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well, Fianna are missing Burkey too, so you know, like he's the Danny equivalent, I suppose, of what Fianna's team is about. So it'll be interesting to see how can Judes push on in the second half and really put it up to Fianna.
We had a goal within a minute of the start. Let's see if the second half can be equally as explosive. Joe McManus hits it wide. His goal in the first half, just in case you missed it, well worth checking out. You'll be able to do that via all the Dublin GA social media channels. Tracy gets us back underway.
You watch the shape inside now as well for Fianna. Like, you see the three lads now, maybe against the wind it actually might be better for the type of ball that goes in.
Colin Curry loses out. Here's Alan Connolly still in that sweeping position. Miscues his clearance and it's out for a line ball to Fianna.
Like, Judes to a point will be happy with that first half, like, you know, especially I suppose coming up out of League Division 2 and stuff like that. But like you can see by Joe McMahon, the body language, get the ball in fast, like, you know, because when they get the ball in fast, their forwards, they seem to cause problems to Fianna. And I'm sure the same has been said in that Fianna dressing room. How do we get AJ on the ball quicker? How do we get Curry on the ball quicker? You know, stop diddle around the middle of the field with it. And in the first half, I just thought there was too much ball turned over in the middle of the field.
A busy night in the hurling championship across all grades, and the other Senior 1 game going on at the moment. It's Kilmacud Crokes 4 points, Crave Kieran 4 points. 10 minutes gone in that game in O'Toole Park. We'll have regular score updates from it. Chasing after it, Fergal Bernock, he can't keep it in, but it's an Fianna ball anyway. That wind is picking up a bit, as you can probably hear as it's blowing into the microphone. St Judes win the break. Have they got the leveller? They have. It's Danny Sutcliffe.
Yeah, Danny on the break again, and again, like, look, for people that are home, like, there's a significant breeze after building there now. Like, it's very different to what it was for the last couple of days here.
Sutcliffe on 3 points from play. Here's Kelly. Kelly gave to Ryan. Have they been dispossessed? Looking to get it into his hand is Paul O'Dea, policed heavily by Joe McManus. O'Dea does well. Finds Donal Ryan. Donal Ryan intercepted by Fergal Kilban. Couldn't make it his first time, does get it second time. Any loose ball is going to be pounced on here. Rob Hardy from a long way out. Hits it wide. It remains 1-10 apiece.
Yeah, hard lucky by Hardy. Like, it was a good opportunity, good chance, but again, like, you wouldn't want them to fall into the same bracket like in the first half. Fianna, some of the shooting, apart from Barrett, who's exceptional, you know, and they might have to bring Barrett that bit further out now, because to get him involved, I think he got 4 or 5 in the first half from play, which was
4 from play. Yeah. Sutcliffe lost his hurley, doesn't matter to him. Bobby Moran, good ball out wide. Hardy was waiting. Hardy will shoot again. This one won't have the legs, or will it? Well, it did have the legs, didn't have the accuracy though. It ran wide.
Yeah, 2 good chances there by Hardy to put Judes ahead, but Fianna have started slow in the second half, so Judes definitely look hungry, you know, at the start of it. There's
Kelly
a good ball
looking for AJ Murphy. Murphy takes it, he's trying to get around Mangan. Murphy lets it slip just as Mangan slips, but he does win the free. Yeah,
better ball into AJ, and again, like we said in the first half, like, if you put that ball in front of him, he'll win. You know, he'll win 9 out of 10 balls. A bit of chap back as well, which means Tom has brought the free in.
Tom Gleeson, our referee this evening.
You can see that Jude's tactic now as well. That the space that's in between. Before their full forward line, there seems to be one inside now where Danny's sitting in the half back line. Obviously there's an extra man beside Danny, but if they can get that ball in fast rather than high looping shots, you know, they have a massive opportunity and chance here to see them.
Curry, his first of the second half, his 5th of the game, all from frees. And it's 111 to Fianna, 110 St Judes. 4 minutes gone in the second half. It's the opening night of the Go Ahead Dublin Senior 1 Hurling Championship. Sometimes on opening night there are little things that you want to get right for the second night. The scoreboard is one of those things, but don't worry, we'll tell you what's happening. And I can tell you now that Mick Foley has equalised his second of the game.
Yeah, and Jude certainly look up for it now, and you can see Tom down there talking to one or two players. It's interesting as well, and the Fianna have moved Rushy back onto Danny as well there now as well. So Rush back to centre back rather than at wing forward where he started, midfield where he started.
111 apiece. And just in case you missed the start and you missed the new structure of the Dublin Senior 1 Hurling Championship, it's 2 groups of 5. The top 3 reach the knockout stages. The bottom 2 in the group playoff. The loser of that is relegated because 2 teams come up from Senior 2. The top teams in each group go straight on to the semi-final, and second and third go on to the quarter-finals. So a new structure. And it just means that pretty much every game right up to the last day has something riding on it. Sometimes we've seen where teams have won 2 group games handily enough. They've got nothing really riding on the last game.
Yeah, I think in Dublin for years we've been kind of crying out for that structure, like to have that 2 groups of 5, and look, it makes all the games, like you said, there's a massive prize at the end to go straight to a semi-final. Like you're 1 game away from a county final if you can get through. But look, we said earlier on it, like it's early, first day out, but look, I'm sure these 2 teams here now, it looks like it's tight at the moment, but these 2 teams will want to get off to a winning start, and you know, you have a game again now at the weekend as well for most teams. So like 2 games in 3 or 4 days is tough on the players and hard on the players, but it's exciting as well. It's July, and you know, that's the great thing about Championship now, I suppose, starting. It gives the club player a real chance and an opportunity to show where they're at.
2 games live on Saturday as well here on Dubs TV. Crave Kieran up against Lucan and St Vincent's against St Bridget's. St Vincent's looking for their second win, having beaten Lucan last night at O'Toole Park. That was quite the opener to the Senior 1 Championship, a real belter in O'Toole Park. That's intercepted by Bobby Moran. Away it goes from Alan Connolly, but he pucked it to nowhere, waiting for it is Bernock. Both teams a bit more direct in the second half, not working it through the lines as much. Colin Curry loses it. Really good play by Paddy Fitzgerald. Both teams a little looser, I have to say, as well in the second half. Liam Rush.
Yeah, but if you're playing that one inside like Judes are doing, and it probably rightfully so with the wind, you have to hit him with the ball, like this, dropping the ball in the half back line.
AJ Murphy zips it over. Good score.
Yeah, he's had a good start to the second half now. Like he started the first half really well, but again, if you put the ball in front of him, he'll score all day. But you know, Judes are, look to the space that's in front of that man inside now as well. It's really important to get ball into Maguire fast and quick in front of him to give him a chance.
7 minutes gone in the second half. Nafino 112, St Judes 111. Conor Kelly. Bernock fumbles, lost his footing. Can he get it back? Kelly in to help him out. It squirms out. Sutcliffe can't get it cleanly. Still on his knees, still fighting for it. Battling now David O'Callaghan, coming away Kelly.
Everything's so straight though, you know, there's no diagonal ball. Like that's a ball now that Curry's on the way, but like everything needs to be put out to the side for AJ to win and give him an opportunity and chance to run it. It's a good score. Shane
Barrett with his first of the second half, his 5th overall, all from play. Almost 8 minutes gone in the second half. Nafino 113, St Jude's 111.
Yeah, Barrett's flying there now again. Look, he's got a couple of good scores in the first half, but again, when you needed a man to step up there as well in that kind of battlefield in the middle, that's a couple of times this evening he's done that. That's better now. Mangan
going long towards Maguire. Maguire does take it down. Can he win the second ball? The answer is no, but he's not giving up on it. Conor McHugh is back on the pitch. That's good to see. Kelly is fouled. It's a free out, and there might be a card to follow for Maguire. Kimbercott Crokes leading by 7 points to 6 against Crave Kieran, coming up to half time in that game in O'Toole Park. Crokes have the weekend off. That means they can go and enjoy the Crokes football sevens, which are on last weekend. Liz Downey from Kilkenny winning the hurling sevens last weekend. Rob Hardy. That's a great block. And AJ Murphy has won the breaking ball. Can Murphy get a shot away? Murphy! Great goal!
It's off
his
from
second
Barrett
of the
again,
game.
Barrett again, like the block, like you said, the work rate, the intensity in around that area, and then AJ snipes on the ball, like, you know, like really strong battle in that half forward line for Nafina, which is better.
2:13 Nafina, 1:11 St Judes, 9 minutes gone in the second half. Rushes the aim, knocks it down brilliantly to Matthew Oliver.
Better rather than that straight line, even though it goes out over the line. It just gives the lads inside an opportunity and a chance to win it.
Well, St Jude's recovered well from an early Nafina goal in the first half. They'll need to do the same here in the second. Granted, that first goal coming a lot earlier in the first half than the second goal came in the second half, if that makes sense. AJ Murphy had his first goal got within 40-50 seconds, something like that. Kelly chasing after it, as is Maguire, sweeping it up as McHugh spills it for Kelly. Kelly is two around him. That means that his fullback McHugh was free, but there was a foul. It's a free out. Nafina getting on top.
Yeah, getting on top after a slow start to the second half. But look, we've said it earlier. Your first game of championship it can happen. But in order to get the best out of Curry and AJ inside, the ball has to be better. Like, you know, just that trajectory of ball, put it out to the side, give him a chance to win it. And Tom is right there again. Yeah, that's silly. Like. Fianna Reen is a loss as well. Like, you don't see him, like, again, as he must be travelling or away, and I suppose that's the only thing that the question mark on the split season is, you know, some of the club players going away and going to America and going to other places, travelling and that. I think Plunkett's are missing a significant player tonight as well. That's away travelling at the moment, so that's the only thing I suppose against that. You'd hope that you can get the club players to stay at home and kind of buy into the club season too.
Joe McManus looking for his first score of the second half, which he has got. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Nafina 2:13, St Jude's 1:12. Anthony Daly spoke about that. He's in charge of Clarecastle this year, and he said he's got two lads coming back days before championship, and he doesn't know what state they'll be in. He said they've been working away, but you just don't know when you don't have access to them yourself. Here's Sean Baxter. Baxter wide on the near side. It's a bad wide as opposed to a good wide.
Yeah, Baxter had that form last year, getting up the field, and he scored a couple of goals in championship last year, if you remember. And you know, look, we've said it a few times now. Like, Jude's now have gone with a two-man inside forward line, but they just need to beat that extra man that sits behind the six. And again, like, you know, it's just down on top of the extra man again.
Bernock, Ryan is policed by Crennan, but gets away from him. It's great stuff by Ryan. Ryan takes a tackle, keeps going. Matthew Oliver inside. It's Clerkin finds Curry does not find the net. It was a brave block by O'Byrne, but the chance is still there for Oliver. It's not the cleanest of strikes, but it doesn't matter. Nafina have their third.
Yeah, and a good movement through, and again, like, that's what they're capable of doing. I suppose that movement, that youthful exuberance that they're well able to do, and you know, that's the first time tonight that they've shown that running in lines and giving the ball to the better man in space. You know, good save by OB first, but then a good follow up and a finish to the back of the net.
3:13 Nafina, 1:12 St Jude's. 12 minutes and 28 seconds gone in the second half. What do St Jude's do to stop the rot?
Look, it's bringing back, like, Nafina now have the gander up, like, and you know, it's the big thing is trying to get that next score, that work rate, that good tackle there, like getting those tackles in around the middle. You know, again, if it was me, I'd have Danny on the edge of the square now and give the ball into him, because like, Rushy has been quite good on him in the second half, and he's kind of scomped him.
AJ Murphy tackling Danny Sutcliffe there, the best forward from each team. That gives you an idea as to the work rate. Here's Alan Connolly trying to escape. He can't. He leaves the ball behind, but he has won a free.
Yeah, that's better, but again, like you see, like, you know, it's taking a lot out. Like, Danny's working so hard in the half forward line, it's taking a lot out of him. You know, I'd wonder, would it be worth 10 minutes inside or 5 minutes inside and just kind of try and isolate him inside, even if they send Rushy back in with him as well. But look, Nafina are fighting hard. It's just they're coming in kind of 5-minute patches. When they have to get ahead, they get ahead, and then they allow Judes back into it again. But look, it's a better second half, but I'd say it's still, when both teams do their analysis and video analysis, there's a lot of improvements to work on.
McManus with the breeze at his back. His team could do with the boost, and they have got one. McManus is second of the second half. He scored 4 frees overall and he scored 1-2 from play as well. 3-13 Fianna, 1-13 St Judes, 14 minutes gone in the second half. Still to come tonight, by the way, at 8:15, Ballyboden St Enda's against St Oliver Plunkett's Own Route. That is going to be live on Dubs TV. We've got 2 more games coming up on Saturday as well. Here's Shane Barrett. Wide.
See the message coming into the Fianna now, keep pushing, keep hammering it now, because they are starting to show that bit of class that they have. It took them kind of for 40 minutes to do it, but again, look, Neil will be happy enough with that they are actually starting to show it.
Kilmacud Crokes 11 points to 6 up against Crave Kieran as they near half time in O'Toole Park. Crave Kieran had a good start there, but Crokes got level and now lead by 5. Here there's 6 between them. The Fianna in charge. 3-13 to 1-13. It was 1-10 to 1-9 in favour of Fianna at the break, so they've scored 3-3 so far in the second half compared to St Jude's 4 points. I have that wrong, Joe. You can go ahead and clarify there.
2-3.
2-3, sorry, yeah. The first goal, of course, came in the first half.
Those hand signals are easier.
I couldn't read your hand signals. In fairness, you were trying to bail me out. I appreciate that, but it's good to clarify these things, and I can clarify, and I'm pretty sure of this. Joe McManus with his third from a free in the second half. Fianna 3-13, St Jude's 1-14. 15 minutes and 41 seconds gone in the second half. Any stats on who scored what in the second half will come from Joe from here on in. Here's Paul O'D, Colin Curry. Curry sidesteps, back to O'D. O'D lets one go and glides it over. His first of the game.
He'll give a smile now to Tom on the way past, because Tom caught him for an off the ball, kind of pushing and dragging there for the last free. So I'd say O'D gave him a little wink on the way past there. Now that'll kind of level it out for him.
3-14 to 1-14 in favour of Fianna.
Barrett's been very good, in fairness to Fianna tonight. He's looking for ball, and like I said to you earlier, it's great after the kind of year that himself and Rushy had when there was injuries involved. It's great to see the two of them back and really pushing strong, because the two of them, Rushy has really clamped down on Danny in the second half.
O'Byrne rebounds into the path to Foley, but again he was just surrounded. Did manage to get the ball, does manage to steal away, also gets a shot away.
Yep.
And it's a good one. His third of the game, his second of the second half. And it's 3-14 Fianna, 1-15 St Jude's, 17 minutes gone in the second half.
In fairness to Judes, they're going every time Fianna kind of sent it to get away from them, Judes are coming back, but again, that's great battling outside.
That is very typical of St Jude's and has been over the years. They just never give up. John McCarthy's team have an incredible work rate. However, Fianna now have a free, which will be struck by Colin Curry. You mentioned there that at this time of year, squads can be lighter because players are away and young players might be travelling, which I imagine they're more inclined to do even compared to the past, because they've had 2 or 3 years where they couldn't go anywhere. St Jude's only have 6 players on their bench this evening.
Yeah, look, and in fairness to the young lads that are away, rightfully so too. I suppose the 2 years that they were confined to be at home, and you can't take that away from young lads. But yeah, I think some clubs might find that difficult. There's a couple of names there missing off team sheets. The other young Curry's missing off, and Fianna's one, and Fianna Reen from Jude's as well. So for senior championship only to have a couple of subs, it's strange for a club as significant as what Jude's are in hurling and football in Dublin.
O'D found Quilty hits it wide. 3-15 Fianna, 1-15 St Jude's, 18 minutes gone in the second half. It's Brian Cody. I spoke to him before the All-Ireland final, and he said in that interview, because we were talking about what people missed during COVID, and we were talking about the fact that it would be a full house and a big crowd as opposed to last year it was only half, and he said for older people it actually wasn't as bad, because younger people, you can't give them the 2 years of the pandemic back, whereas I'll include yours and my generation in this, Joe, we kind of had that time.
Yeah, and so I think I've listened to Dalo's podcast a few times. You can't blame these young lads for going away and having an opportunity to get to America and take that opportunity. But it's the club manager. I've been that club manager too, where you're there and you're hoping that you can have the full deck of hand to go as well. But look, Na Fianna are starting to show a little bit of class here as well. But Berkey there now too, which will make a difference.
Donald Burke is onto it. Goes out over the line. Colin Curry. Nice to be able to bring on a player like Donald Burke, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I suppose I was lucky enough to be on the opposite side to him this year with Westmeath, and he's a class act, like, when he needs to be, and he's a great young fella as well. Like, he just has that manner, and he's a respectful nature about him on and off the field, which is what you want in a player.
McManus having a word with Joe McManus, having a word with Ger McManus. Wonder what he said. Ten minutes to go. Still only 6 between them. It's nothing in a hurling match.
No, and I'd still give Danny 5 inside. I think if Judes are going to need a goal, I think, to win it.
Is this going to drop inside the square? They tried to keep it alive and can't. It's a wide. Tracy. O'D. Rushy. Liam Rush. It's 2-on-3 in favour of Jude's, but it's still won by Barrett. McManus chops rather than blocks, and it's a free in.
He's having some game, and in fairness to Paul O'D, like, he just doesn't hit the ball. He looks up, found Rushy well, and Rushy gave Shane a chance to win the ball. But again, I suppose for one thing for Na Fianna to improve on for going forward is that ball that's given in. It's so linear at times. It needs to be more, to decide to give the lads a better opportunity to win it. But O'D's doing well now in the second half as well, and he's calm, he's collected on the ball, like, as well. So Na Fianna are showing that bit of class, but I think Judes are going to need a goal, and I'd love to see Danny given 5 minutes inside to see could he cause that problem.
Curry about to score his third free of the second half. And with 9 minutes to go, it's Na Fianna 316, St Judes 115. 8 points in all for Colin Curry so far. All of them from place balls. Here's Ger McManus. Back to O'Byrne it goes.
Hunger from Barrett
is blocked
again. Look
down.
at that.
Great work from Barrett. O'Byrne gets away with it, but his team are under pressure. Connolly aiming it out the field. David Kiernan has just come on. Kiernan on it now. Kiernan forced into dropping it. That's a brilliant pass wide on the ground there from OD. But St Jude's get the free in.
Yeah, but Barrett, like, again, and I know I've said this a few now, he's gone down now, which is a little bit of a worry. Hopefully he's okay, but like he's had a serious impact on the game. It's the age, and maybe it's cramp, but he's just been so unfortunate over the last while. Obviously stepped away from Dublin last year, came back into it this year again, but huge player for Na Fianna, and great to see him doing so well. 14
points to 8. Kilmacud Crokes leading against Crave Kieran. Crokes, of course, the defending champions. 316 plays 115 here. St Jude's trailing.
I suppose Crokes having the weekend off this weekend will give you a chance maybe to get into the 26 for the next day.
Danny Sutcliffe lobs it inside. Surely if they're going to lob it in, Sutcliffe should be in there rather than outside. But here's Joe McManus. A wall of yellow in front of him. Fergal Kilban. That's a good score from the wing forward. He's first of the game. 7 minutes to go, and it's Na Fianna 316, St Jude's 116. I'm saving myself for the knockout stages.
Of Love Island, I'd say, rather than Senior Hurling Championship now for you.
I can genuinely say I have never watched Love Island. Kevin Tracy, by the way, is in for St Jude's. I'm not judging anyone who does, by the way. I watched Commando the other night, Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie, and loved it, so, Does that make me better than anyone who watches Love Island? No. Conor Kelly. Donald Ryan with the big hit. Tackling him and bringing him down is Sean Wynn, and it's a free in.
Yeah, Ryan did well there. He came straight down the centre, and he took the first tackle well and went through it again. So big boy as well. So he's done well there tonight, in fairness to him. And I think the big thing for Fianna is I think they clamped down on Danny quite well with Rushy going back there. So that's made a big difference in the second half. And look, Fianna have done enough, I think, at times tonight to show the bit of class that they have. And look, Oisin, I can't overemphasise the amount of talent that they have and underage success they've had. And at some stage they're going to have to push this thing on with the group of players that they have there. And they'll be happy with moments out of tonight, but in order to get better, they're going to have to kind of make that more consistent.
Curry hits it over, and now he's on 4 from frees in the second half, and with 6 minutes to go, it's Fianna 3-17, St Judes 1-16. This the first batch of games. These two back in action next week. On the surge is Sean Wynn. Sean Wynn still going. This is Sean Wynn. Run. Oh. It's a free in, or is it a penalty? He was brought down in that central channel, so you can argue it should be a penalty under the relatively new rules.
But not for club.
That's true. Keep having to remind myself of these things when you start the new season.
If I made the wrong call there, no, I'd be getting a call from Gleeson or Mooney telling me about the rules and when it happens and when it doesn't. So yeah, no, that's only applicable for the inter-county. Would he go for it? You have to really, don't you?
He has to. 5 minutes to go. His team are trailing 3-17 to 1-16. I think he has to go for goal because they're not creating goal chances. So might fall out here for Kevin Tracy, who hits it wide. That's a big blow to get nothing from that attack. St Jude's next in action on Saturday week. They play Ballyboden St Enda's. For Fianna, they have a bye next weekend. Sorry, that's this Saturday. Obviously St Jude's against Ballyboden.
Danny right there, like you can see him trying to orchestrate that, but because of the wind, like Fianna will try to play it through the lines, and you can see Danny trying to say to them, look, push up on the puck out and keep that 5 back inside and get Kilban back in there so that Fianna don't have space in the half back line to win it.
It's a good take and turn by McHugh.
Great tackling again. But
Kelly trying to skate through. A good flick off to the runner. That's Dermot Clerkin. Great little tap there from Fergal Kilban down to Joe McManus. McManus sends it long. Intercepted by Liam Rush. Liam Rush picks up his own break. Curry wants it. Sidestepping around Paul Fitzgerald. Tried to find AJ Murphy and could maybe overcomplicate it a little bit. It's a line ball to St Jude's. 3 minutes to go. 3-17 Fianna, 1-16 St Jude's. Yeah,
and they're all little things that the Fianna management can work on for the next day. Like like little overcomplicated stuff like that. There's no need for it. Win the ball, Curry, put the ball over the bar and back to your spot again. Like
we mentioned, St Jude's are in action at the weekend at 5:30 in O'Toole Park. They're up against Ballyboden St Enda's. Fianna next in action on the 13th of August here in Parnell Park. They're up against Coola. That game will be live on Dubs TV. Moran. I think that's Sutcliffe who's gone down, sweeping it up as Fergal Pernott. Kelly misses out. They have to try and work a goal. It's Wynn. He's fouled and it's a free, and it's a clever foul from Kelly. Just keep them tapping over points. Don't give them a sniff of goal.
And you see Rushy and Danny went down there as well. The two big boys, Clyde. You'd hope that Liam's had problems with that hamstring this year, and you'd hope that that's okay. Two former Pats men, Mooney and Rushy on the same field. I think that they played on the same team at one stage as well. But look, Liam has been what a servant he's been to Dublin hurling as well over the number of years, and the injury he got this year just took that kind of whole playing year out for him. So hopefully he decides to push on and stay again, because even from tonight's viewing you can see that he still has an awful lot to offer.
And you could see it this year that the big man up top, the full forward, the traditional full forward, is still very much a needed thing in hurling, and that could be Rushy. He can play in so many positions.
Yeah, look, I suppose I had him at underage, and like for me he's a 6 all day long. I suppose whether that's changed now maybe on the type of game, but that's a great win there by Sean Ryan, I think, is in.
That's correct, Sean Ryan. And Fianna tap another one over. 3:18 to Fianna, 1:17 to St Judes. 29 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, what they're bringing on as well has made a difference. Like, you know, Sean Ryan again would have played a lot of underage hurling with Dublin as well, and you know, they're bringing on quality players to Fianna, and look, the talent they have in depth, it's there. And look, they were, like you said earlier on, there's probably that bit of hurt there from getting to a county final last year and being whatever 7 or 8 points up. I stood here and called man of the match like before the game was over, and all of a sudden they lost it. And yeah, look, it's about them driving on in the group now. They've got a couple of tough games that they need to win as well, and I'm sure that they'll want to come out and on top, you know.
Donald Burke tries to find AJ Murphy, who's got Kieran Mangan stuck to him. It's out for a line ball. Don't think it'll make any great difference here. For St Jude's, scoring difference is important because we've seen it in the groups in Dublin over the last number of years. I know the group structure is a bit different this year, but scoring difference could still be the difference. They're going for goal here, and it bounces kindly for Tracy. Tracy heard the call, comes to Donald Ryan. 3:18 to Fianna, 1:17 St Jude's. We're into injury time. Quilty. AJ Murphy is the target. AJ Murphy takes it. He's already got 2 goals. He'll settle for a point on this occasion. That's 2-3 for him today.
Yeah, good score. 2-3 is good score in your first championship match of the year. Like, you know, he'll be happy with that. He's probably missed 1 or 2 as well. Great take.
Well, to win and to still have things to work on, that's, I suppose, the ideal situation for Neil and the rest of his management team.
Absolutely.
Here's Liam Rush looking for AJ Murphy again, but Rush has overcooked it.
He has, but look, again, I go back to the fact that if Fianna want to get better and want to progress, that's the type of ball that they need in. Just obviously the trajectory needs to be taken down off it, but when AJ and Curry get balls like that, and you see Berkey back there as well winning a great ball too, so look, Fianna have an awful lot to work on, but they're going to come out of this game as winners, and I don't want to say that like I did last year, but they will today, and they have a lot to work on, but look, they're definitely going to challenge, and with the talent they have, they should be. Good score again.
Baxter taps it over. Maybe the goal was at his mercy, but I think he decided just to take his score. 31 minutes gone in the second half. 3:20 Fianna, 1:17 St Jude's.
It's fair shooting, Oisin, as well. Like, you know, your first match champion, 3:20 is a good score. I'd say if you'd have asked the lads that are involved in the Fianna this morning, they would have taken that, and some really, really good performances. Like for me, Barrett as man of the match stand out, no problem in saying that. But they've got a lot out of AJ as well, and you know, when AJ gets the right ball, like we said, he can be very, very dangerous. And they've got some good subs to bring back in there as well. Like Berkey obviously will come on. And
that's a great ball from AJ Murphy. Kicked it to Diarmuid Clerkin. Clerkin is thinking goal here. His route was blocked. Baxter comes in to help him out. Clerkin put his big frame over the ball and fouled. It was a great ball from AJ Murphy, a very clever little half volley. 3:20 by the way to Fianna, 1:17 to St Jude's. 32 minutes gone in the second half. Fianna looking good for an opening day win.
Yeah, and they're the little things, like, you know, Clerkin gets the ball, and I know, look, you're goal hungry and you want to kind of seal the deal, but you know, put the ball over the bar, the same as young Curry out the sideline that time. Take those scores, keep the nails in the coffin, keep pushing it on, because look, like I said, in spells tonight they've been good, and they've lots to work on. And look, Jude's facing into a big game now the weekend against Bowden as well.
Is it good for Fianna that they have a bit of a training block now? They don't play again until I think the 13th of August when they take on Coola. What a challenge that is, the 2-time All-Ireland champions. Going long with it. We'll come back to that point in a second after this play. Sean Ryan was the target. There was a foul, a jersey tug. The referee is saying it's a free out, and Sean Ryan said something, so Thomas Gleeson is going to go in and potentially give him a card. No, he's actually giving a card to Hardy, I think it is. Is it a good thing for Fianna that they now have a bit of time to actually do some really decent training?
look, I think leading into championship, like, you didn't really know where you were, after the league in Dublin. So I think yes, it is, because I think if you're Rochi or Neil or those lads that are involved in that Fianna team now, you get your analysis done over the next day or two, and you really sit them down to say, look, if you really want to have a cut off this and get back to where you were last year, this is what you need to do to improve on. And it gives bodies a chance as well, Oisin, to get right, because the likes of Rushy and that we may need that bit of, there's full time now, but look, they deserve it tonight, in fairness to them. They were the better team. Judes were tough and strong in their tackling at times, and just didn't have enough, I think, up front to cause Fianna that problem. Didn't really create that goal chance.
Didn't score a whole pile in the second half, St Judes, just 8 points in all. For Fianna, they were 110 at half time, so that means they put up 210 in the second half. And AJ Murphy was on fire. A goal in either half, 1-1 in the first half, 1-2 in the second half. Colin Curry, decent from frees. He scored 8 overall. Shane Barrett popped over, 4 from play in the first half, 1 from play in the second half. And Matthew Oliver also contributed with a goal. Baxter and O'D also getting scores for St Judes. Maybe they didn't get enough scores from enough places. Mark Maguire got 2 in the first half, but was quiet in the second half. Denny Sutcliffe, we expect so much, maybe too much from him. Only got 1 from play in the second half. He got 2 in the first half. And Alan Connolly was back sweeping, so he didn't really get the chance to get forward. Joe McManus with 1-5, and I think they all came. Well, he got 1-5 in the first half, and he got 4 from frees in the second half. St Judes with a loss on the opening day. Fianna with a win, and they were very much worthy of it.
Yeah, and credit where credit's due. Like Fianna, in fairness, when they pushed ahead. So
let's have a look at some of the highlights.
Again, that long range shooting from Jude, like with the wind, and again, at times could they have isolated somebody maybe inside and put the ball in front? But here's AJ again. When he's out in front, like, look, he's electric when he's on the ball, when he needs to be, and that's something for Fianna to work on for before their game with Coola. Can they get better ball into Curry and to AJ? Maybe just with that, positional sense of where it's coming from.
AJ Murphy with his second goal of the game, a well taken one as well.
Yeah, and to cause the turnover himself, and he'll be happy with that. And you come out of your first championship game with what he scored tonight, he'll be happy. And I just thought Shane Barrett kind of epitomised where they were this evening. The work rate, constantly looking for ball, and they have so much to work on, and yet they scored. They scored 320. I suppose it's conducive to a good start for Fianna in this year's championship.
Well, Fianna were decent in the first half. They were much better in the second half. St Judes were good in the first half as well. They just couldn't live with the intensity of Fianna, who got a few players off the bench as well. Gave a good few players game time. Joe McManus was decent today, as we mentioned in the second half. Couldn't really score from play, but did add 4 scores from frees.
Big thing now, I suppose, for the weekend is how Jude's react to this. Like, you have a game in whatever 4 days' time, depending on what happens in tonight's result with Bowden here. But big game again coming for them at the weekend, and like you said, it's so important. Like before that break into August, where you are and standing in the tables, and you don't need 2 defeats, especially not 2 heavy ones.
This was a decent score. Sadly for Jude, they just couldn't work enough of them in the second half. As always, they worked hard, but just Fianna's class told, I think.
Yeah, you have to give it to, I suppose, the Fianna management as well. Like, they put Rushy back, took him out of midfield and put him back at 6 on Danny, and that kind of curtailed the influence Danny had. Would have loved to see Danny in at 14 for a while. I think any management, when they see Danny in around the square, can cause problems. You can get the ball into him. But look, the 2 McManus brothers coming back for Jude's have added to them, but I still think they're missing. You'd love to know, are there many lads away, or like Fianna is a loss for them, but overall you have to give it to Fianna tonight. When they needed to push ahead, they did, and I suppose when Jude's had that chance with maybe 10 minutes to go with a 21-yard free, if that had went in, it might have made a bit of a game for it. But Fianna pushed on with some good scores from AJ there again.
Well, remember, you can watch this one back in full on Dubs TV via YouTube. Coming up in just over 10 minutes or so, we've got the second game of the evening. It's Ballyboden St Enda's, who are taking on St Oliver Plunkett's Unruh. Don't forget, Ballyboden back in action at the weekend. They're playing in O'Toole Park against St Judes, but they've got a bit of work to do before that against St Oliver Plunkett's Unruh tonight. Don't forget, you can also contact us via the hashtag GoAheadDSH1. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, we're back at the weekend with 2 more live games. Before I tell you about them, I will tell you that the latest score from the game between Kilmacud Crokes and Crave Kieran is Kilmacud Crokes 16 points, Crave Kieran 9 points. They're into the second half there. 2 more games coming up on Saturday. Crave Kieran amongst those in action. They're up against Lucan Stars, and St Vincent's taking on St Bridget's. So those are the matches on Saturday, but we do have another match tonight. That's coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us for that.